Okay, so I want to ask you this. You went to jail, not jail, but when you went to prison, you went at 17 years old?
I had just turned 18.
Okay, you just turned 18. So what did you go to prison for initially?
Special aggravated robbery, special aggravated kidnap. No, the initial charge was special aggravated robbery, special aggravated kidnap, first degree premeditated murder, 3 counts of felony murder, and then let me see, I got arrested July 27th. I caught the escape charge September 24th. So, and then I had an escape charge on top of that.
That's a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, and you only did 10 years on this?
Yeah.
Any parole?
Nah, I had
no parole. You did 10.
I went up for parole 3 times.
No, I'm saying when you got out, were you on parole?
I flagged my whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't never give it to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they wouldn't never give it to me.
So you did 10 straight.
10 straight.
That's a blessing on all them charges.
Life.
So how was, you had a good lawyer, how was you able to get it like that?
Yeah. That's a good question. Because a lot of people don't know, you know what I'm saying? When I say them charges like that, they, man, how you out of prison, man? You told. What most people don't understand is murder is the hardest case to prove. You get more time for dope than murder. If you get pulled over, you in the school zone, you will go in there and they'll put you in the cell with somebody. You'll be like, what you like it for? I got a murder charge. Ah, dang, how much time you got? I got 15. I'm like, dang, you only got 15? How much time you got? Man, they gave me 35 and 100%. What you have? 7 grams of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in my situation, it wasn't only just a good lawyer because I fired my first 3 lawyers. God, I couldn't afford no lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Been in the streets all that time. Couldn't afford no lawyer. But my first 3 lawyers, I got kind of set up. Like, I had just about a year or so before that, I had hit a lick in my city. The biggest robbery probably in Robinson County for over $100,000, but the value was probably millions. And I had a lawyer at the time that I had went and got to get me to go to job course because the case, the actual event happened with the murder was June 14th. I didn't get arrested till July 27th. So in the middle of that, I was already on probation for attempted murder. I shot a man 3 times with a K. And so I went and tried to hire this lawyer to get me the job course. And to go to job course, I had to go through the lawyer because I had to go through the judge because I was on probation. So when this was going on, he was a lawyer that represented the dudes who got charged with the big robbery case that I got away with. And whatever he did, whatever they had going on, I kind of got set up. He sent the police to my house. They arrested me. They took me down, and I made a statement.
For that robbery?
Yeah, no, for the murder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever he told them, you know, they took me down there, you know what I'm saying, for the murder. I made a statement.
Murder?
Yeah, not for the murder, for the murder case. I was already on probation for the attempted murder. Whatever this lawyer did, because he let them know I was at my mama's house when I was going to be there, because my court date was the next day. I got arrested July 27th, and my court date was the 28th. He called me and he was asking me where I was at. And I wasn't thinking of it. And then by the time I got off phone, my mama knocking on the door and was like, the police on the phone. I was like, what? I looked out the window. I already know what time I was in the streets. I was like, they gotta be here to try to get me. And they had an unmarked car across the street. But they took me down to the police department, man. I made a statement. But before I made the statement, it was like 3 hours, like 3.5 hours had passed. And I'm telling them I want to call my lawyer. I'm like, what makes you think I ain't finna ask my lawyer? Like, I literally got a court date tomorrow. Like, I just talked to him. And they was like, who you talking about, Bo? They say my lawyer name. I was like, yeah. He was like, I will call him right now. They called my lawyer on the speakerphone right in the interrogation room. And he was like, man, I'm on my way down there right now. He was like, man, you can go ahead and speak to him. Like, don't worry about everything. We already done. And they hang the phone up. So I go through probably about 15 statements of just lying to them people. So by the time I say something that incriminated me, they didn't care what it was. As long as I put myself on the scene, it was over with. You know what I'm saying? And I signed a statement. But years later, I'm telling my lawyer, I'm like, look, this is how this happened. Like, and then what she done, she got a timeline. The officer who came and got me from the house, because they had to call the unmarked car, they called a county car with the lights on the car. He had to mark what time he got to the house. So she got that. Then she marked what time I got to the actual jail. You already got an affidavit signed for me to get arrested. I supposed to went straight from my mama's house, straight to jail. I wasn't even supposed to go to interrogation. So between the time he came and got me from my mama's house and I got to the jail, I think it was like a 3.5, almost a 4 hour gap. So she was asking, where is this time? And I'm telling her, Them folks had me down there questioning me. I told her, man, I had a lawyer. I told her about the court date. Then she went to the court and pulled the court date, seeing I had a court date. But the 3 lawyers I had before her, this was the mistake I was making was go and ask Bo. Bo was telling them he never represented me. So at this point, she was like, I'm going to go pull the court docket to see if you had a court date, and it's going to show who was representing you, because he tried to lie. She pulled a court date, and it showed who was representing me, what time we were supposed to be there, which was the date before I got arrested. And I said, do this. Because I didn't know, he was basically saying I hadn't retained him, because I don't know if he knew I lost the receipt or I didn't have the receipt. So I tell her, I said, when you call Bo, tell Bo that my lawyer found the receipt and I'm going to be able to show that I retained him. So when she called me, she was like, well, I got the receipt. And he confessed everything. You know what I'm saying? He was my lawyer. I had a court date. He confessed they called everything. So the deal, I think our first deal, they was offering us like 25, 22, something like that. As soon as all of that came about, it came down to like 15, but they weren't trying to give me my jail time. And then I think I asked for 8, then they was like 12, and then he was like, we'll split the difference, and I ended up with the 10, and then they gave me the 1 for the escape. So that's how all of that unfolded. So it really boiled down to dirty police. You know what I'm saying? And that's what most people don't, and it's a real thing. Like, when people get arrested, like the fruit of the poisonous tree, like it's a real thing. Like, people in all situations like that, ain't somebody that told, because the sentence was like sometimes the court, I could have went to trial and probably beat the entire thing. Actually, my lawyer begged me to take the deal, and the reason I took the deal, when I went to court, I got the person who was supposed to testify on me, and I asked my lawyer, I said, is my family out there? She was like, ain't nobody out there. I said, bring me the paperwork. She said, because you know you did it. Somebody lost their life. He'll never get to see his son. His son will never get to see him. Like, she ran everything down to me. She said, you basically beat this situation. And she was like, it's a blessing. She said, you already been locked up 2.5 years. She said, you need to take this. She said, you'll thank me later on. She said, I know you don't want to do no time. And I'm listening to her. That's when I answered. Ooh, I said, my family out there? She was like, nah. I said, give me the paperwork. And I signed it. I deserved it. Yeah.
Looking back now, you feel like if you would have never gave that initial statement, it would have been different too? It would have been even harder?
If I would have never gave the initial statement, I would have got out and probably killed a bunch of people or got killed.
Yeah. You was wilding like that?
Yeah.
You was wilding like that?
Our life was it. Yeah, life was. I most definitely, I would have had the big head. I would have got out with the big head like I was untouchable. This was the first time I've been in and out of trouble since I was 14. This was the first time where, it's a body.
It's the first time it stuck.
Yeah, it was, and somebody lost their life. Like, I was aware of, this ain't no robbery case, this ain't no dope case, this ain't no burglary case, this ain't no theft, no grand theft case. Like, somebody lost their life, you know what I'm saying? And the people I was with, we all been in the streets. So I didn't even look at them like they told me. They went out there and told the truth. Now, they might have fabricated some stuff, but I understand, because you scared, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I respect it, because I take full responsibility, because I know a man lost their life. Like, 2 days after the situation happened, like, my mama lived in front of a gas station, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting out in my mama's swing, and his child mama pulled up at the gas station. She got out wearing his shirt, pregnant, in his car. And I'm sitting right there, and I was just kind of looking. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, that's probably the first time I realized I probably didn't want to be in the streets no more neither. I just didn't know what I was going to do, because that's all I knew. But at that point, I knew, this ain't cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, after you got out of prison, you never had thoughts of going back to the streets, never wanted to go back to, you feel like you're completely reformed coming from all that?
Yes. I had 2 moments, you know what I'm saying, where I jumped back in the streets, and it was because I was impatient. Of course, I'm used to fast money. That's what I've been doing all my life. And I had a moment where, I knew somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I finally was like, man, I'm just gonna make me some money, and then I'll get back, you know what I'm saying? And I did that, made a bunch of money, and I'm really grateful that I did it, because it made me realize I don't even want to do this. Like, it wasn't the same. Like, I was paranoid. My paranoid level was on a whole nother level. And then, of course, I didn't want to be around guns, so I didn't even have no gun. It was just so many things I realized I was just too far away from the game. Like, it wasn't the same. Like, and then I stopped, and I went back again for maybe 2-3 months, and then it's been over with. Like, I've been legit all the way for probably about 4 years now.
Well, that's what's up, man. And so how long you been out altogether?
6 years in May.
6 years. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hit the ground running?
Man, I couldn't waste no time, man. I knew from being in and out of juve, I know, time don't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, family and friends, some people want you to come home and adjust. The world just don't work like that. What you call an adjust, you know what I'm saying? You sitting too long, before you know it, you got a bunch of excuses and
Yeah, and it started in prison when you decided what you wanted to give your life to God?
Yeah. It probably about I had about 4 years left when I said it. But then I got serious probably my last 2.5 years after me and my daddy did some time together. Me and my dad was in the cell together, and we, I was going with the correctional officer at the time. I got engaged to her too.
In prison?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I bought a ring and everything. I had it brought in the penitentiary. I proposed and everything. I got on the knee.
So you was getting action in prison?
Yeah. I got some action in the penitentiary. I wasn't even there. Let me see. I caught the escape charge. I escaped out of jail. I think it was September 24, 2007. They caught me the next day, September 28th. And they transported me to the penitentiary. I was in the penitentiary before I even took my time. What they call emergency, they did an emergency transfer and they call it safekeeping because then nobody in the 19th district want to hold me. So they sent me to prison as a maximum security inmate. And I wasn't even there a year. I got something on maximum security.
Damn, that's great. Yeah. For sure. Man, that's a blessing.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a blessing.